what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a really simple training. The first thing I want to talk about are the 5 factors that determine success. Now, it doesn't matter what you want to do. If you want to succeed in life, you want a business, you have to follow these 5 steps. The first one is very obvious, okay? You have to have a goal. You're not going to succeed unless you have a goal. And it's not just a goal, you've got to have a goal plan, okay? The second thing is the vehicle. What do I mean by vehicle? Well, obviously a business opportunity or a business model. The third thing is then the belief, okay? So you need to believe in yourself in order to do this. Now remember, this is being recorded, so you can always make notes on this afterwards. The fourth thing is leverage. Now, leverage, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you were starting a pizza shop. Obviously, you want to be successful, you want to make money, that's your goal. The vehicle is the pizza shop. The belief is, yes, I can do it. The leverage is your marketing, your skills, your training, your experience, your knowledge, your know-how. Maybe you wanted to become a lawyer. Maybe you wanted to become, I don't know, a driving instructor. You'll need resources and skills. That's what I mean by leverage. And finally, support. Now, more often than not, with lots of businesses, most people can get the first 4, but when things go wrong, they don't have the support. They might even get people negging them out and saying, oh, it's not going to work, pack it in. They might even get criticism from competitors. The difference here is that this works brilliantly with network marketing. However, not everyone has a great vehicle. Not everyone has good leverage. Not everyone has the belief. But the most important thing of all from these is the goal. And I'm not going to go through all this. I'm going to start with a goal. And this is something I've done over the last 20 years, and it works amazingly well. I can sit here and explain why it works, but I'm not going to. There's actually some very profound psychological reasons why this works. But this is how the most effective goal-setting strategy works, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know if you can see, but I've got books and books on this stuff. So I've spent like 20, 30 years studying this. And this is as simple as it gets. So first of all, what you need to do is, you don't have to do it now, get a blank piece of paper and write your main goal out. And it has to be very specific. You can't say, I want to be rich. You've got to be very specific. You've got to say, I want to earn 2,000 euros a month or whatever it is by a certain time, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is pretty obvious. You've got to have reasons for that. And you want to think of at least 10 reasons. Now, most people can probably think about 4 or 5 without any trouble. Yeah, they want to earn this much money because they want to buy a house, they want to do this, they want to do that. But then there's other reasons that are not very obvious. Sometimes, you know what, they want to prove to somebody else that they can do it. Sometimes they want to prove it to themselves. Sometimes it's about self-esteem. You know, you feel good that you've actually succeeded. Sometimes it's being a role model for your children. You know, these are all the sort of reasons that you can add to it. But here's the best part, and this is what most people don't ever think about. 10 consequences. 10 things what would happen if you didn't achieve this goal. 10 things that could go wrong, or 10 things that could actually motivate you through desperation. I don't know if you've seen some of my webinars earlier last month. We talked about the power of a motivation. There's people who want to move away from negative things and people who want to move towards positive things. And when you want to move towards positive things, those are the reasons why you want those things. And you know what? They do work. But the other ones, the things that you want to move away from, are 10 times more powerful. So my point here is that, yes, you might want to have a better lifestyle and do this, do that, and do that. Those are the reasons. But the consequences are, if you don't do that, you're going to end up in debt. Your partner might leave you. Your kids are going to end up struggling. I don't know. Whatever you can think of 10 reasons. You might feel miserable. You might be miserable now and you don't want to live that miserable life. Whatever it is, think of 10 reasons and 10 consequences. You don't have to get them all bang on first time, because this is something you're going to do over a period of 30 days. You're not just going to do this once. You're doing this over 30 days. In other words, you're going to write it out every day, first thing in the morning, ideally. Honestly, I've got pages and pages of this, and I can show you, if ever I meet you, I can show you these, and I've hit those targets, and I've sometimes thought, nah, this isn't going to work, but I've still written them, and they've worked. Then the next step is 3 obstacles. What do I mean by obstacles? Well, most people might write the reasons, and they might even write the consequences. But if they haven't figured out what their obstacles are, the things that are stopping them, what happens is you'll have your reasons, your consequences, but something in your mind will go, yeah, but you haven't got this, or you haven't got that, or you haven't done this. So that stops you. That stops you getting started. It might be that you need a certain, I don't know, a certain skill or a certain device or a certain list of people. That might be your obstacle. And if you just write the obstacle, that's not enough. You've got to write the solution to it. This is the most amazing thing. By actually writing the obstacle down, you are identifying the thing that's stopping you. In medicine, there's a saying, diagnosis is 50% of the cure. You're halfway there. You've diagnosed the thing that's stopping you. What is the solution? The solution is to do this, this, and this. Write it down. Whatever the solution is, when you have written that solution, your brain will go, oh, okay, that obstacle no longer is valid. And it mentally rubs it out or crosses it off. I cannot begin to explain to you the power of just that part. You could have 20 reasons, 50 consequences, but if you haven't dealt with the obstacles and the solutions, you'll never get started. So guys, all I'm trying to say to you is if you want to succeed, do this. And even if you do it once, it's going to have a profound effect. But you want to do it every day for 30 days. And ideally use colored pens. Now I'm going to show you, I've got some pens. Where are my pens gone? My kids have taken them, as usual. But anyway, I use colored pens. And the reason I use colored pens because the right part of the brain uses color. So when you write your obstacles, and so you might write your reasons in green, and your consequences in red, and something else in blue, and something else in purple. It has a very profound effect on the mind when you're writing in color. So write them every day. It'll probably take you about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to write them out. But here's the thing. The more you write them, the more real they start to become, the more clear they become. At first, the reasons are not very clear. It's like, I'm not sure if I really want that. And then when you write them 2 or 3 times, you start to write them in a way that you think, actually, yeah, that's exactly how I want it. And you might even change some words. And that's the key. You're making it more believable. The second thing is then to read them once you've written them. So you don't just write them and go. You read them and just visualize them just for a few seconds. Just imagine each one, each reason, yeah? And then you might be driving or you might be doing something. Just try and remember one of them and just focus on it. Whenever you can, just try and bring one back and try and remember it. And then add to them, improve them. You might be able to download images and add that to the goal or the reasons. And finally, very important, read them before you go to sleep. Don't watch a movie. Well, if you've watched a movie, fine, but read this before you go to sleep, because the last thing you go to sleep with is what your mind focuses on. So all the things that you're going to sleep with at last thing at night, whether it's watching a scary movie or something, that's what your brain's dealing with. So make sure it's something like this, something positive. Guys, do this for 30 days. Believe me, you will have unbelievable results. Whether it's business, whether it's weight loss, whether it's finding a perfect relationship, seriously, this works. There's countless books up there, and I've watched so many other videos and stuff. I've been studying this for 30 years. This is the most powerful way to realize your goal. So that's it, guys, for the presentation.